Here's exactly why you should burn the boats. Now, I'm going to explain a handful of times throughout my life where I did exactly that. And I have zero regret to burning everything down numerous times now. And I think there's burning the boats and then there's self destruction, which self destruction could be very valuable to one's growth as well. But the first time I absolutely burnt the boats was when I moved to Boston at the tail end of 2022. I had never been to Boston before. My buddy was living up there working in crypto, and he said, "Come on up." And at the time, it scared me. But it's like, you know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it everything I have, and I'm going to go down swinging. Did I give it everything that I had? Probably not. Did I indulge in some destructive habits? Absolutely. Which, in other words, I got very distracted because I had never lived in a city before and I did not know how to control myself. So don't do what I did. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. It's part of my story and I had a lot of fun. But I mistaken the amount of work for what it actually was. And as I look back in that time, I don't know. I didn't know what real work was. But that being said, I had a fantastic time. I learned a lot about myself. I was very embarrassed to come back and move in with my family. I felt like an absolute failure. I did not want to be back in my hometown. I did not want to face people who I once knew or knew because my plan was to go up, get very rich, and come back and basically give everyone the middle finger. So very wrong way to go about things. But that time period, like I do not regret it. I would rather a well than what if. And if you try to force something too hard, it's just eventually going to lead to energy depletion and it's going to drain you at it for all that you're worth. And it is very difficult to crawl out of that hole. And the summer before that, or the year before that, I tried to adopt this overperformative mindset where I'm like, go to bed at 10, get up at 5 every day, which was needed for discipline, but it got but which served a purpose at its time because I did not have any discipline whatsoever. I wouldn't even make my bed in the morning. But the way that I always operated well was staying up super late at night and just sleeping and waking up without an alarm and getting the day started. Humans are programmed to wake up naturally. Alarms are just, it's a very unnatural way to wake up. And it didn't become a thing until the Industrial Revolution really kicked off in the 1800s when workers had to be at the factories at 4 in the morning. But that was the first time I ever really burnt the boats in my life. And I moved back and I met some of the greatest friends that I have right now through that time period. And the memories and experiences are ones I'll never forget. Get the experience going out of the country for the first time based off just knowing the right people and sheer luck. It was fantastic. But so I spent the next year here in my hometown and I was like, okay, about ready to move on. And I burnt the boats again and went to Columbus, Ohio. Now that was short lived because I spent 8 months there. So moving is I'm no longer afraid of that. Moving up there, just, it was easy. It's like, oh, I did this before. And it's funny because all the way up in Ohio, when the day I got up there, the first car that I saw had a Clemson sticker. It was very funny. But 8 months up there, and I decided to come back down here. I had to handle stuff in South Carolina before I could go anywhere else. So I guess you really wouldn't call that burning the boats if I'm coming back to a flight. But it's important to go through those lessons to see what you like. Knowing what you don't like is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than knowing what you like, because you can filter things out a lot quicker and you're one step closer to what you do desire out of life. Now, the last couple of months, I've been fortunate to go to some pretty cool places. I spent a month in New York, drained the bank account. That's burning the boats. Went up there with zero plan. I'm just said I'm going to connect with as many people as possible, get in front of as many people as possible. Met some more internet friends and met some new internet friends and ate good food, talked to beautiful women, and the runs there were absolutely peak, absolutely drained my bank account. Right now, I'm going through one of the most challenging seasons in my life, but I have zero doubt in my mind that I am going to move the chains in the next couple of months. And it's like this feeling in my soul. I'm now working on an app that I truly believe in. And the last 5 years have been building up to something. And I can't describe it, but doing things like that, or doing things that we're scared to do, is necessary. I did not want to go to New York at all. I was like, God, why? Why New York? And I prayed on it, and God was just saying, go. And I did. One of the greatest months of my almost 26 years of existence. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. I got to experience Guatemala on a church trip, and I got to experience California for the 100-miler attempt. If I didn't go to New York, I would have never gotten connected with the guy putting on the 100-miler. He pitched me the idea, and I said, absolutely. So the point of this video is take chances. You can only do certain things in your youth, so it's important to capitalize off of those situations. As I said previously, I'd rather oh well than what if, because there's not much serious in this life, and we get trapped in other people's dogma, and it's like, bro, what do you want out of life? People don't know how to sit with themselves anymore and ask, what do I truly want out of life? And where self-destruction comes into play, it's important to reinvent yourself where by any means necessary. There's this cool challenge called the way of the Misogi. Now, the modern way of putting it, it's kind of gay, and you're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to talk about your Misogi challenge. And it's basically this physical challenge that has a 50% chance of failure that one should do every single day. Misogi means purification. And back in ancient times, maybe it was sitting underneath a cold waterfall or something like that for an extended period of time. Where now it's gotten to be too much because it's just talked about. But I went and did one of those every single year the last couple of years. Now, 2023 was run a distance that I had never run before. 2024 was also run a distance that I had never run before. 2025, honestly, probably a different story because I was in Columbus for 8 months, and I did pick up running again before moving back down, but I didn't really do a Misogi challenge. And as for this year, I've been fortunate to do many quote unquote Misogi challenges, but that self destruction mechanism just comes naturally. The the sculptor is also the sculpture. We've probably seen that image time and time again where it's a picture of the statue chiseling away at himself. And self destruction ultimately leads to growth. And I'm not saying like schizo crash out where you're just tweaking over every single little situation. It's like, no, sit your ass down and ask yourself what you want to do. I don't believe in depression. I most of the time, I think a lot of it is self inflicted in today's day and age. Look around you. We don't know how to be bored. We have devices everywhere. Everything is so instantly gratifying. Don't know how to sit in silence and read and write and form our critical thinking skills and go do something hard. If you're going through it, go do something hard and challenging that's going to make you grow because the mind quits far before the body does. And the mind likes to play tricks on us. And it's important to turn off that off switch. And so some of these physical challenges this year is I ran 17 miles in the snow on Hilton Head. That was absolutely sick. It snowed and I was so excited to go on that 17-mile run the the day after because it never snows in my hometown. Never. Ran a marathon. Did it at sub 3:30 and just very happy. Might be the only marathon I ever run. No real interest in running a faster marathon. Attempted 100 miler. Ended up on 56. I wore the wrong shoes. It's my fault. I failed the research. It's all my fault. And that's another thing. Take accountability for everything. Everything. Even when the slightest things don't seem like they're your fault. Take accountability. Okay. You still, your video editor didn't give you videos on time. Okay. You still chose to hire your video editor. It's one example. But I'm going for 100-mile attempt this coming Thursday because in that self-destruction season where I want to do something difficult, I want to do something challenging, I want to push my limits. I failed a couple weeks ago and I want a chance at redemption. And it's ultimately going to lead to growth. So burning the boats come in multiple fashions. Or I don't like that word. Burning the boats can come in multiple formats. And self-destruction falls under that umbrella. And that's how you reinvent yourself. You know, that we all have dreams and aspirations. Got to become that person. And that's where self-destruction comes into play. But about to burn the boats again too, where I'm not sure when. I know it's coming, where it's going to be time to move on once again. I think New York's calling my name. Not too sure yet, but I'll know fairly soon. So, as always, Godspeed.